All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Against the Smoke podcast. We are here live in Dadeville, Alabama today with the prevention team. Everybody say hello.
Hello.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning. So listen, let's jump right into it, y'all. This podcast is a start of a new month, May the 1st, which is the first day of Prevention Mental Health Awareness Month. All right, Mental Health Awareness Month, and we want you guys to tune in to the podcast from now on to get mental health updates and other news. All right, so let's jump right into it, y'all. We're talking about dipping today. All right, dipping, something that's been around for a very long time. We'll get into the history of dipping. We'll talk about just the different health effects from dipping as well. And so we got a prevention team to do that. And so let's get right into it, y'all. We're talking about Skull, Copenhagen, Happy Days. Y'all like that accent? Y'all like that? You know, very good job. I got that from an old coach of mine when I was playing sports. They all used to dip. They used to have the dip, put it in the mouth, and have an old Sprite or Mountain Dew,
Yuck.
Bottle to spit it in. Poop. You know, and just carried it around all day long. Like, is that nasty to y'all?
That's pretty gross to me.
Disgusting. I used to actually have a job where I had to help clean up a baseball stadium.
Oh, no.
Wow.
First, I'm going around picking up, cups or whatever. And one time I picked up a cup, about to throw it into my trash bag, whatever. And didn't realize that it had some, what's the right word? Spit in it. So I didn't handle it as carefully as I should have. Needless to say, every other cup I did handle appropriately. But it was bad. So it's disgusting.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, and we may have some young ones listening to this and don't know what chewing tobacco is. Chewing tobacco is coarse, and it must be chewed or crushed with the teeth to release flavor and nicotine. All right, nicotine. Dipping tobacco is finely ground moist tobacco, better known as chew, dip, spit, chaw, or even moist snuff. All right, and so all of these have health effects that could possibly happen when doing those, Bailey. So what could happen when somebody is dipping for a long period of time?
So obviously you are going to develop an addiction to nicotine. But that's first things first. It's going to happen in the body. But also you have an increased risk for oral, nasal, liver, mucosa, and pancreatic cancers. And pancreatic cancer is one of the worst cancers to get because it's the part of the body that really makes your hormones balance out. So it's sending out signals all over the body. So you really need that to survive. But and then other oral conditions such as leukoplakia, gingival recession, and dental caries. Also, we see the whitening of the gums, which eventually makes the teeth rot out. So, and you also have increased risk for cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and stroke. And cardiovascular disease is the number one way that people in the United States die.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. All right, that's awesome, y'all. These facts that we're getting are quite amazing. They're quite amazing. These are the things that people need to focus in on when they're doing that. I think these coaches maybe knew about the health effects, or maybe they didn't know.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes a lot of companies try to hide health effects. So let's talk about how we got to this particular point, the history of dipping. All right, the history of dipping, snuff, and snus. We'll talk about what snus is as well. So Herman, how did we get to this point as far as the history?
Well, so how we got to this point here in the U.S. or America at large. We know that Columbus sailed to what he thought, of course, was India. Sailed to what we call the Americas today back in 1492, and so that's where he first saw the indigenous people actually chewing the leaves, or basically tobacco leaves or whatever. So that's how it first got introduced to the European settlers. And so after that, you fast forward several hundred years, around 1904 is when it actually started being mass produced here in the U.S. And they actually alluded to where they got the chewing from, being the Native Americans. They actually called it Red Man. And so again, they were alluding to the indigenous people where they actually got it. And that's probably still, I think, the largest brand of smokeless tobacco. And it was popular for a while. And then cigarettes actually came out around 1865. But cigarette smoking started to become more and more in vogue, and it kind of led people away from smokeless tobacco. Then around in the 1960s is when they started putting the warning labels on cigarettes and started letting people know, hey, this cigarette smoking thing can be dangerous to your health. It can lead to cancer. And so then, the smokeless tobacco kind of picked back up because of that. And as you mentioned earlier, it seems like the baseball players, for whatever reason, that sport specifically is a sport that has always, I hate to use the word glamorized, I'll just use the word, they were known for using tobacco. And so now we actually do have it to where the warning labels are on smokeless tobacco as well, because, when it comes to cancer-causing agents, smokeless tobacco causes cancer as well, and so normally it's going to cause oral cancer, and from that, of course, the cancer can metastasize, and so obviously any cancer that can indeed metastasize, it can get into different parts of the body, and of course it can be deadly. So again, as Bailey stated earlier, it's very dangerous. There are a lot of negative health effects towards it, so we do indeed encourage the people to stay away from all forms of tobacco.
Yeah. So what you're saying is that tobacco is nothing new. It's nothing new. It's not like something that just came out at all. It's been going on for centuries. And so just the different forms have changed. I think, we were talking a few days ago about a little bit of the manipulation going on. I was going about flavoring. We're talking about different flavoring and how to make things more appealing to younger generations. And I noticed, and I talked to a few students, and I asked them, I say, if you're going down the hallway and you smell a cake baking, all right, or something that smells good, is it going to make your stomach growl, or would you want it? If you smell cookies or anything like that, would you become hungry? And they said, yeah. And so I also said, so when you get around the corner and you just realize it's not a cake, it's not cookies, it's just somebody with a vape or somebody with some flavored tobacco, that's disappointing. But you still wanted it the same way, all right? And so I was going to talk a little bit about snuff and snus, okay? So snuff is a finely ground or shredded tobacco that can be dry or moist. And it's not a lot of flavors on that, all right? Just mint, wintergreen, and regular tobacco flavoring. But on snus, all right, Swedish snus, which is a finely ground tobacco as well, or moist snuff in a sachet, they have a lot of flavors. Y'all listen to these flavors: energy drink, grass, peppermint, honey, ginger, lemongrass, peppermint, whiskey, wintergreen, lemon lime, vanilla, and so on and so on. All those flavors to just attract or try to, I guess, kill the regular tobacco taste, so that more of the youth are more attracted to these things. All right. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, I was also looking at a few of the statistics from the surveys that we do, and the statewide comparison compared to some of the tobacco statistics around the state. And among high school students, it looks like 5.8% is the amount of, I guess, the percentage of students that are using. What do y'all think about that percentage? Do y'all think that's right on from what you see on a daily basis, or do you think those numbers could be kind of misleading? You might want to take that one.
I think when it comes to, smokeless tobacco in general, specifically as you just mentioned snus, snus is one of those things that the saliva you can actually swallow, like everything else, like you normally spit, but with snus you actually swallow. So it gives that extra level of privacy, extra level of I can do this anywhere, extra level of I can be in class, use it, and the teacher wouldn't know. I can be at home, maybe mom, dad wouldn't know. So I do think, like most things that youth shouldn't do, they want to try it. And so I would definitely think that number may be a little low, just based on anytime there's something out there that we're told you shouldn't do, we want it that much more.
Right. So, how do you guys think that we can, and Ashley, I'll direct this question to you. How do you think students, adults can get help from an addiction or any of these struggles that they're going through with this tobacco?
Yeah, so there's several ways to get help from a dip in addiction. One way is through text message programs, and that's for my millennials out there and generation Z, Generation Z, and even Generation X or the other generations. But the one text message program is called Dip Free Text, and that'll give you some tips or some help with trying to quit dipping. And it's just a free text message program for young adults in the U.S. who are, ready to quit smokeless tobacco, ready to quit. And it'll last up to about 6 to 8 weeks, depending on, your quit date. But what'll happen is you'll receive 3 to 5 messages per day. And the way you can sign up is just text SPIT, SPIT, to 333-888. And that's one program that you can use. Another one, there are apps out there. One app is called Quit Start app, and it's a free app as well for teens who are trying to quit smoking tobacco. And it gives you customized tips. It gives you inspiration, and it'll help you with your challenges when you're trying to quit for good. So, and also for people who want to dial, use the phone and just dial the number, there are quit lines out there. One quit line, the National Cancer Institution has trained counselors, and they'll provide information to you, and they'll provide support for quitting in English and in Spanish. So that's one way. You can call Monday through Friday. The hours are 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time, and the number is 1-877-44-U-QUIT. And here are the numbers. I'll give you the numbers, since some people might not know what those numbers are, but it's 877-448-7848, and that's one of the quit lines. Another one is 800-QUIT-NOW. So that's 800-784-8669, and all states have quit lines. So it doesn't matter if you're in the state of Alabama or Georgia, and they have counselors who are trained specifically to help smokers quit. So there are quit lines, there are apps, and text message programs for those people who don't necessarily like to talk on the phone. I know I'm one of those people. I don't like talking, to people. I'll listen to a machine in a minute. I love it when there's a machine. I don't want to speak to the representative, but for those people who are out there that like that, there are quit lines for you. You can go online to www.mylastdip.com, and there are, you can get help there as well. So there are plenty of ways that you can get help, and also, ask your family, ask your friends for help, support, ask them to support you, and that'll give you the motivation, to keep going. So.
Awesome. All right. Well, y'all, hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. Again, you're sitting here with the prevention team. We're live today from beautiful Dadeville, Alabama, y'all, where people are out and about because of the new Safer at Home order given by the governor, Miss Kay Ivey. And so I encourage you guys to stay up to date on what is going on in your community as well. So y'all be blessed and have a good one, and we'll see you soon, okay? This is the Against the Smoke podcast.